one of these. It's a gate valve, and for all you use with low pressure systems, this is probably what you got. Usually with combis, you probably won't see any of these anywhere, the combi system. But if you've got tank fed pressure and you've got a hot water cylinder, F&E tank, this is generally the kind of valves you're going to come across. Now, a lot of people have been writing to me, they've got these gate valves primarily in the airing cupboard, and you may have one to turn the hot water off. And what happens? You go to turn it off and you find this handle is stuck solid. It might move a fraction, but you can't get it off. Now, let me show you the gate valve. Now, a gate valve, as you can see, if you look through there, you can see the gate gradually closing as I close the valve. The idea with gate valves is that you get a full flow of pressure. There's no restriction in the pipe flow because it opens the full bore of the pipe. That's one of the reasons, the primary reason for using a gate valve instead of a stopcock, which would restrict the pressure. This is supposed to keep that pressure, which is only fed from your tank in a loft, nice and high to the bathroom. Especially if it's on the first floor, you're going to find the pressure isn't a great deal, so you can't really have stopcocks, you can really cut it down. But anyway, primary problem has been with these gate valves, the handle's stuck. Now, the way I look at it is, if you want to get this off by the gate valve, you're going to have to use grips on it. And if it breaks, well, you know, you've lost nothing because it doesn't work anyway, and you're going to have to replace it. So if it breaks, it means you've got to drain the roof tank down and obviously install another one of these. But the way I look on it is, go for it, and you know, what have you got to lose really? If it breaks, it isn't working anyway, is it? So the way I've always tried to release these is this. A pair of these, I always use a pair of footprints. You don't have to, you've got anything else that's simple to use, but I use it simply because it will clamp round there nicely. And what I do to try and release a stuck gate valve is just gradually turn it a bit and a bit, like so. Just get it to move a bit, and then gradually get it to move a bit more. And as it starts to move, just keep easing it back and forward, and just till it starts to move more and more and more. And gradually, with any luck anyway, not every time I'm afraid, but most times, that gate valve will gradually start to free down. Just ease it back, ease it forward, and a bit more, until gradually you'll see that gate is starting to close and it's starting to come down. Now sometimes you might find that it doesn't quite close all the way down, and you've got it to a position where it's something like that. It's almost down but not quite, and it will let by a bit, but it may be enough to, maybe if you're just rewashing a tap or repairing something, because you can open the bath tap and maybe in the basin tap would definitely be okay to work on, for instance, because it would take all the little bit of pressure that was getting through away. But that's just another little tip. So another thing you mustn't do, if you do squeeze this right down with grips and you think you've got it off, okay, and it's right down, don't go pulling it right down any harder, because if you do, you can snap the gate off inside there and it would be locked off, and that's a tricky situation, because then how do you drain the system if it's shut off? It's a bit of a headache, because I've known these to be shut down so hard, and when you go to open it again, instead of releasing like so, the valve stays shut, so it doesn't release, it stays in there. So you can open this as much as you want, and the way you can tell is the handle will just keep going and going and going. It won't actually do anything, it won't come to a stop like that. It will just keep turning. If that happens, you shut it off too hard, snap the gate, and obviously it's locked off. If that does happen to you, the answer is to get the tank in the loft drained via a hose, stick it in the tank over the top and drain it out into the bathroom or whatever outside, suck it out, siphon it out, drain the roof tank right down that way, and then you can undo the top of this valve and renew it. There'll be just a little drop of water then in the pipe just from there to the tank, not much. You should be able to deal with that to change it, if that happens to you. That's the worst scenario. But as I say, at the end of the day, with these gate valves, if it's stuck, you've got nothing to lose. If it's jammed and you can't turn it, you know, what can you do? There's no point putting oil or anything like that, WD-40 or anything else around there. Okay, it won't it won't do a thing. It's not going to get down inside there. Okay, so that's just another little thing. Basically, that's it with the gate valve. Why we had them, to say, for full flow, and why they can be a bit of a bloody nuisance, because I say, especially in hard water areas, that gate in there can corrode over, and that's why they often jam. They get all corroded and you can't move them, and especially if they haven't been turned for a long time. They just kind of seize up in place, and the corrosion grabs hold of the gate there, and you just can't turn it, it just goes solid. Okay, so it's one of those things with gate valves, I'm afraid. Good, bad, ugly. no, they're okay, but they've got to keep turning them. I mean, if you turn them every so often, but everybody forgets, they will keep free. So if you made a point of going to your ring cupboard or wherever your valve is and turning it once every 3 months or so, it would keep it working, but obviously we forget, we get busy, don't we? It doesn't happen. Anyway, there you are. That is just a little tip from me about the gate valve, and try to free it up if it is jammed and you want to get the water off. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and catch you again on the next one. Thanks for watching. Derek from 33, usual place for all my stuff. Bye bye.